Hey everyone, I have reviewed SISTAR before. I liked one song, absolutely loved it. Another one was okay. I thought it was pretty good, but I'm feeling like the songs were so different, I need to keep going with them. So here is I Like That. It is literally a random song I chose. We're just looking for SISTAR, typing it in, and I'm kind of, I don't know if I have mixed emotions or if I'm excited or what, but I'm looking forward to exploring more of them to feel basically I don't know if it was one song that I really like or if it's a lot of stuff by them I really like. I don't know. We're trying to figure it out. We'll see. Here we go. Do I like that?
Let's dance.
Wow. I'm hearing saxophones, horn. This is really cool. I like this dance. I was about to comment on the music with the saxophones. And it's like, what an interesting mix. There's some guitars. Well, it's a fascinating mix, and visually my mind is going in 5 directions at once here. I don't know what I'm supposed to look at or see, or I'm just so overwhelmed. And then we go into this heavy beat. Oh, I like this. And I like the Asian background, the Asian theme. Didn't see that chain. I love the drape things. And that horn, that's an interesting horn part they've stuck in there. And they've laced it with their vocals. Very well layered song. Oh, I didn't see they had stuff on their eye. This is really cool. I like whenever they get Korean ethnic in any videos. Oh, this is great. Like that break. The fascinating use of horns in this to provide the textures. The dance, almost I don't even notice because there's so much interesting stuff happening. The outfits, the drapes, the background. This part of the dance is cool. I love working with props. That people don't do that enough. So yeah, I bet if I saw this on stage, I don't know if I'd be loving it as much. But this is such a dynamic video and dynamic song. I like this part of this dance. That was really fascinating, though. There's just so much happening, and I think the dance on stage would be very different. It's interesting because in the very first time I heard SISTAR, I loved their voices, and in this song, the voices are a little bit lost under so much great dynamic thing. It's just this push and pull. But this was completely different than the other two songs I had heard by them. So completely different. Yeah, just one of those bands which is all over the place. So I use the word band, and I should say group, because it's not like a band where they're sitting together. The girls are like, you want to play a C chord while I jam out over this D, you know? That's not what's happening. You know, these girls are like, is this going to be in 4/4? Should I put what should I do for the... They're not doing that. They're coming into a studio and being told what to sing. And I think that's the one thing with K-pop is I hear these groups where all the videos, and Girls' Generation has this, and some other groups have this, where I never know what I'm going to get, because I swear they just bring in a new group every time. And the part that's the same is their vocals and the vocal tones. Whereas in a band like Bon Jovi, you know who's writing the songs, and even if they bring in someone like Desmond Child, they kind of always sound like a Bon Jovi album. Or you could map a progression between this album and that album, you know. You can hear the change in their style or how they're experimenting, but it always kind of sounds the same because you know what you're getting. But with these K-pop groups, I literally think, because it's all studio people, sometimes they rotate through the studio folks, so you always get something new. Other times it may be one you know, it creates this variable that I don't always see in Western music. It's interesting. It's the interesting part of K-pop idol groups, because they are manufactured. No questions about it. They start off that way. Some keep going beyond that. But it is interesting because they're not musicians. I know some do write stuff, but largely I think the music is outside of their hands. And I know, it's interesting. And then there's some groups like Dreamcatcher who totally have a sound. You know that sound. Or Pixie, you know that sound. For others, I just feel like, I don't know. It'd be interesting to know what goes beyond and making, goes on behind the scenes in the making of the albums. If any of you know of a documentary or something, subtitles is fine, that shows the making of the music, I'd love to see that. I would love to see interviews with musicians. I don't know any of these musicians, but I've said this many times, I would give anything to know more about them as a musician myself who plays bass. I'm just very fascinated by them and what they're doing and the process. And I would be really interested if any of you can fill me in on behind the scenes of the making of the albums. Not the videos or the dance, but the music. I just know nothing about that. So please, if you do, help me out. And as always, thanks for watching, and thoughts down below.